Hello, it's Kadesha. I'm back with another video. This is for all my sane people who are in the midst of delusion and you're trying to figure out if you're the crazy person. But really, you are the sane person and everybody else around you is crazy. So, I have a story time. I don't know what the Lord is doing. And I said, no. Let me rephrase that. I don't know what the Lord is allowing to happen because the Lord says that he can use evil for however he wants to use it. And he can blind people as to make them not be able to see or have discernment. And he can also, he says, the king's, basically, the king's mind is in his hands and he can turn it wherever heart is in his hand and he can turn it whatever way he wants. So I'm not sure what the Lord is allowing to happen right now, but I had a situation in which I came into and I started just like looking. I'm like, okay, Lord, what is going on? Because I was talking to these people and they were asking me things that only God could answer. And so when I'm answering the question, I started to think like, Lord, is this really somebody asking me this question? And then I have people like trying to play God in a sense and trying to tell God when they want things to happen and saying it's going to happen really soon. And I'm just like, you must don't know how God works, because I have been there. I have done that. And I have gotten the t-shirt, decided to give it to somebody else. No, decided to burn it because I don't want anybody else to have the thought of which we can control or manipulate God. And maybe this video is going to be similar to my one where I did say we cannot manipulate God. So I feel like in this sense that the Lord has allowed me to be in is that people are trying to manipulate God. And that's why I said that maybe you're the same person in the midst of delusion. And that's the world right now, because we oftentimes think that if we have money, we have status, we have whatever, that we can control an atmosphere. But as those who believe in the Lord, believe in the creator of the world, know that it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how much power or status, you can't say if you're going to get a terminal illness, if you're going to be healed from that terminal illness, how long you get to live, what job opportunity you get next. Like, you don't get to tell God that, even though you have this status, you have this power, you have this money, it does not matter. And I think people are starting to realize, because of course, the Lord will allow you to think what you want to think. He gives you that choice. But I think people are starting to realize now, or the Lord has allowed me to be in those situations to where I inform people that you don't control God. You don't tell him what is going to happen. You don't tell him when you want something to happen. And this is not to make fun of people or to, like I said, because I say you're the only sane person. No, I'm kidding, but serious. Like, we cannot think that we have power to say anything. Only thing we have control over is what we do, how we respond to a situation. And sadly, people are mistaken thinking that they can control an outcome of a situation, and you cannot. You cannot. So I guess I'm here to be the PSA to make you realize, like, no matter what you try to do, you cannot determine an outcome, because God is the one who's in control. And once we get that in our mindset, we will, of course, gladly give him the rings and say, I don't know what's going to happen. I am just going to do my part. You will gladly do that, because when you're trying to control the situation, it's so hard. It is so hard, because what you start, and I've talked about this before too, what you start, you gonna have to keep going. What God starts, God keeps going. And so the Lord started this body I live in. The Lord started the job that he allowed me to work. Only the Lord is going to be able to sustain that. Only the Lord is going to keep that on. Now, I can do some things that can make it better as far as on my end, but I don't get to dictate certain things in this, in those situations. So I just want all the sane people to realize, like, the Lord has you in that place of delusion for a reason. It is for you to open the eyes of those around you who are living in a delusion. And it kind of reminds me of the story of the king who was naked and everybody else is pretending to, like, oh, you look so beautiful. And then the child says, look at that guy, he's naked. I believe that's what the Lord is calling us to do right now. So, same people, it's all right. Keep going, keep believing, keep trusting. And the Lord will give you exactly what you need. And you will be able to open the eyes of others, but the Lord will also bless you in that. He will give you favor among whatever it is. The Lord will give you the favor in those people of delusion's eyes, and they will realize that it's something more underneath the surface. And of course, that underneath the surface has nothing to do with us, but who's within us. And may that lead them to get to know him for themselves, and they too can become sane. So thank you so much for watching. Like I always say, sa cambio que quieres ver en otros. Until next time. Bye.